It's been quite a long time since we've gotten a new 3D Mario game. And as somebody who's been hoping for that announcement any day now, I decided to sit down and rank all 6 3D Mario games that I've played from worst to the best. My name is James, and I started this channel simply because I love video games. If that sounds like you, please consider hitting the like button on this video, the subscribe button on my channel, and checking out some of my other videos as well. This is a ranking of my own personal enjoyment of these games and how I feel like they hold up in 2023, how accessible they are, and what it feels like to play them in the modern era. Anyway, with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get started. Coming in last place, I have Super Mario 64. I know a lot of people are going to have this at the very top of their list, but what this one comes down to for me is that I really just don't feel like this game has aged very well. And I didn't have this game growing up, so there's no nostalgia there for me, so I'm not giving it the nostalgia bump like probably some of the other games on this list will receive. That being said, I don't necessarily think this is a bad game. I know that it was very incredible for what they were able to do at the time. It was the first real 3D Mario game. It was much more of an adventure type game, and you could kind of choose your own path and the order that you wanted to take down obstacles, which was very different from a lot of other Mario games that had come before it. Probably every Mario game that had come before it. However, playing this game as part of the Super Mario 3D All-Stars collection kind of exposed that this game is a little bit clunky, that it doesn't really control super well, but 30 years ago, or 27 years ago, when this game came out, it was all that we had known, so we didn't really have anything to compare it to. But now, comparing it to all the other games on this list, it really just doesn't quite hit for me. Coming in 5th place is Super Mario 3D World. And we can go ahead and lump Super Mario 3D Land in there too, because I've heard that they're pretty similar. However, I haven't played Super Mario 3D Land. Super Mario 3D World is very much just the 2D platformer Mario games in a 3D setting, which I know that that's what the other 3D games on this list are supposed to be, but that's not really what they are. And as somebody who's always enjoyed the kind of openness and the structure of the 3D Mario games, this game ends up closer to the bottom of the list for me, just because I really enjoy the structure of a lot of the other games more. That being said, it does control very well. It does have some really great multiplayer components, and if you do pick it up on the Switch, which is another positive about this one, is that it's playable on Switch. If you do pick it up on Switch, it comes with Bowser's Fury, which is also very fun, and I didn't include that one on this list. Maybe I should have, but I didn't. What holds back Super Mario 3D World for me is that I feel like overall it's just lacking personality, that it doesn't quite have the identity and the pivotal gameplay mechanic that a lot of the other games, the 3D Mario games, have. However, I do think that lends to it being a much more faithful interpretation of the Mario platformers in 3D. So this one really just kind of comes down to personal preference, and I wasn't really a huge fan of it. Next up, in 4th place, we have Super Mario Galaxy 2. And this one, to be honest, I don't really remember a lot about this one. I haven't played this game since it came out, which I believe it came out around 2009 on the Nintendo Wii. What I do remember, though, is that Luigi's a lot more involved in this one, and it is just as good as Galaxy. but I don't necessarily remember it doing anything to set itself apart from Galaxy 1, kind of just following in those same footsteps. And then also in 2023, we have the problem that Super Mario Galaxy 2 is stranded on Wii. All the other games on this list are actually playable on Switch. So that one kind of holds it back for me, as it's one of the only 3D Mario games not playable on Switch. Up next, in third place, we have Super Mario Galaxy. And I remember vaguely when this game came out on the Nintendo Wii. I believe it came out in 2007. I should have probably looked these up before making this video, but I didn't. Anyway, Super Mario Galaxy is very, very good. However, in 2023, some of the motion controls, shaking the controller to spin and hit enemies, does feel a little bit dated. It kind of feels like something out of 2007, or like they just released a new motion-driven console and needed to work it into their game. Anyway, the things that I really remember about Super Mario Galaxy, which I played Super Mario Galaxy pretty recently as part of the 3D All-Stars collection, it has really great level design, and it's all around pretty fun. But as a 3D platformer, I found that it kind of left some stuff to be desired. What holds this one back for me is just the sizable incorporation of the motion controls as a result of being on the Nintendo Wii. Additionally, this is simply just not a game that gets me excited when I think about replaying it. Coming in second place is actually the newest in the series, Super Mario Odyssey. And people were very mixed on this one. I myself was very mixed on this one. There's a part of me that really loves this game. There's some really fun stuff. There's some really fun hat tricks and stuff. You can throw your hat and then jump on your hat and then throw your hat again and then do all kinds of stuff that make the platforming very interesting and very, very unique. What really holds Super Mario Odyssey back for me, though, is that I just think it's too big of a game. That whenever I think of replaying it, I think of how long it took me to go through the first time. It's such a large and daunting game that I know I don't want to commit the time for it. I don't want to commit to replaying it because I know that I'll want to 100% it, and that just takes way too long for me. Coming in at first place is Super Mario Sunshine. I'd like to go ahead and say this is a nostalgia pick, but also it's just the game that when I've replayed these most recently, it's the game that I had the most fun with. When the 3D All-Stars collection, this is the game that I continued to go back to, that I have the game on GameCube, and even before the 3D All-Stars collection came out, I would fire up the game on GameCube and get every single available Shine Sprite, all 120 of them, probably like once a year. Additionally, I also find the vacation storyline I find it kind of funny. You can kind of tell it was from a time when Nintendo wasn't afraid to go out of the box and try some new things, and definitely they didn't take themselves too seriously. That here we have our hero Mario celebrating a vacation, and then he gets kind of roped into this whole thing, and he ends up in jail, and they accuse him of doing all this stuff, and there's wanted posters with his face on them. It's really, overall, I just find the game to be very funny. Also, I really enjoy Flood, I don't care for Flood as a character, the pump, I really enjoy Flood as a platforming device. I find the platforming in Super Mario Sunshine to be the most precise, even being from the GameCube, and possibly the deepest platforming. Odyssey might give it a run for its money there. And when the 3D All Stars collection came out and this game was available on Switch, my love for this game was what actually drove me to create this channel. It's what really drove me to start doing Let's Plays. And really, it's a nostalgia pick, but it's also just the one that's really had the biggest influence on me. And for that reason, it ends up right at number 1. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video. As always, the best way to keep up with me is on Twitter and on Instagram at James_Solar. Until next time, thanks for watching.